What's going on, Nerd Nation? Welcome back to the Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode number 29. I can't believe we've made it this far. We've got a little bit of a light week this week. It's myself, Fox2, and I'm joined by the Pirate.
Hey, guys.
And unfortunately, the other two members are MIA. So, that being said, let's jump right in. I want to start things off with a little bit of housekeeping, if you will. I want to get the word out there as we're growing the podcast, as we're growing our website. I want to make sure you guys are aware of what we're bringing to you and what we've got available. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/comicbooknerdnation. Follow us there. Lots of funny stuff gets posted. Lots of links to different news, rumors, all kinds of good stuff. comicbooknerdnation.com. We will be posting articles there as regularly as possible. We also have free forums there where you can jump on and discuss anything you want with us, with other people, anything. So check that out. Again, that is completely 100% free. Stitcher, the audio-only versions of our podcasts are published to the Stitcher app, which you can get on, I believe, any smartphone or tablet through the Android market or the iTunes, or what's it called? iTunes market?
iTunes, or yeah, App Store.
App Store. That's the word I'm looking for. So that is everything that we've got bringing to you guys right now. We're also on Twitter. We're not on there that often, but stay tuned for some updates on the Twitter stuff. That being said, let's jump right in and start talking about what we've been reading this week. I'll go ahead and kick things off since it's a coin toss basically between the two of us. This week was a little bit of a light week for me. I read the new Hulk book that came out, Hulk number 4, I believe it was, which I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm really actually enjoying the Hulk series more than I thought I was going to. And I'm interested to see how and if it ties into the original Sin events that's going on. I kind of think it might. Not 100% sure, but basically the premise of the storyline thus far is somebody, we still don't know who, shot Bruce Banner in the back of the head twice, I believe, and basically due to him being able to Hulk out, he has survived this, and it's like healing him, but in his Bruce Banner form, up through issue 3, he was basically a child, in his mind. Through the happenings of issue 4, though, he has snapped back. Well, not really snapped back. Basically, Tony Stark has healed him using technology to perform this microsurgery type of situation on his brain. And they basically brought Bruce Banner back, but now there's some kind of tie-in, I think, to the original Sin, because they're hinting at that he might know too much. And I think that's what's going to play into the whole Hulk versus Iron Man original Sin series. That is like a 4-book or 5-book series.
Now, what I'm confused with on that is, so the whole thing where Bruce got shot, and because in original Sins he's been in that up to this point, is this running in conjunction, side by side with it, or is there a different time frame?
I'm really not sure. That's what I don't like about some of the stuff that Marvel does, is it's, to me, very, very cloudy as far as, this definitely feels like it is moving in the direction of original Sin, and I think the next issue is even called Original Sin or something to that effect. So it's clearly moving towards that in some fashion, but then, like you said, there's not really any clarification on whether or not, did it happen before? Did it happen?
Do you think the new Marvel method today is write something and have somebody else write something else, and then at some point in time just throw them together?
It could be. I honestly,
Like,
I mean, I understand the old Marvel method and how it was effective for business, like for a business model. Draw this stuff down. Draw it all down, and then somebody will come up with a story to fit what you drew, which, as a reader, doesn't make any sense at all. And like, you can definitely tell, like, when you go back and read some of the older Marvel comics, it's like, what? Like, this just doesn't. Every book was essentially the same type of thing. There's a small intro with no action, then all of a sudden there's a appearance of some random supervillain-esque type character. Then, by happenstance, our hero finds the villain, and then everything gets worked out through some epic battle. And that's like 99% of the old Marvel comics, at least the ones that I've read. And I mean, it's neat to read them for a nostalgic kind of feeling and get the history of where the stories came from and where, the comic book genre developed in its infancy. But as an actual literary read, it is not. It's just not anywhere near on the caliber of stuff that you're getting from like a Jeff Johns or some of the newer authors. If I could talk today, God, it's awful.
yeah.
The other things that I read this week, I've been keeping up with the Batman Eternal series. That's really good. I'm really enjoying that. So there was a big twist I don't know if it's a big twist, but there was a twist this week basically saying that Carmine Falcone was not the main villain in the story and that there's really some other puppet master out there. So likely what's going to happen is in coming weeks we're going to travel to South America with Batgirl and try and chase down who the mastermind of this entire series is. So that should be interesting. I have enjoyed the Batman Eternal series so far.
Have they showed Stephanie Brown in it yet, other than issue 28 of Batman? Because they said she's supposed to be in this one, a spoiler.
Stephanie Brown.
It showed she was Batgirl.
No, I don't think so.
In like and before New 52, she was Batgirl.
No, I don't recall her being in it thus far. It was Barbara Gordon was obviously in it, but I don't.
Right. Because it showed her, and if you read Batman 28 when they had the teaser for Batman Eternal, and it had Bluebird in it and all that, at the last panel was her in a chair tied up, and they said Stephanie Brown as the spoiler, whatever. But yeah, so and there was talk about her being thrown into it before Batman Eternal came out. So that's why I was wondering if, because somebody said that she appears in Batman Eternal, but I don't know if it's till like issue like 20 something, and because somebody just recently asked me about this upcoming issue, and that's why I was like, well, I don't know 100% if she's in it yet or not, but
yeah, I haven't
run.
I haven't. I don't recall off the top of my head, and we think we're like 10 or 11 issues in at this point. So I don't recall it yet, but that obviously, like, if we're only a fifth of the way through it, I mean, that's definitely still a possibility. I would say there's a hell of a lot of more storyline to go before they wrap this thing up, which is kind of what is exciting to me about it. Is they have a lot of pages to go to tell the story. A lot of story arcs that you see now are 3 or 4 books. And if it's a big story arc, it might be 8 to 10 books with, 5 or 10 tie-in issues.
But a lot of them always start out as smaller though too. Like they'll be like,
true.
"Oh, we're gonna do a big one. It's gonna be like a 5-issue run."
Right.
And then it ends up being like
growing. Right. But this one, they're setting right out of the gate. It's 52 issues. So
yeah.
The potential there for them to really like throw in more twists and turns in the plot and uncover more, different avenues of the story is what I think is going to make it a good story once it's completely done. You know, if that makes sense. Like, it'll be a good read, even as a trade paperback or a graphic novel from start to finish. It would be really good because it would be, you know, it has the capability available for it to be very, very in depth. I like that. The other thing that I've been reading, I'm not finished with it yet, but this is obviously going to show up backwards on the video, but I don't care. Let me see if I can get the glare. There we go. Green Lantern, War of the Green Lanterns. Little over halfway done. Again, Jeff Johns is an absolute god of writing comic books. He is phenomenal. This book is just epic, just like Blackest Night was. You get the whole aspect of different people wearing different rings. You know, Hal Jordan as a Sinestro Corps wearing a yellow ring. You get Guy Gardner as a red ring. You get Kyle Rayner as a blue ring. And you get John Stewart as an Indigo Tribe this time. So you get a good mix-up and showing how... I really like how they explain how those different characters deal with trying to use those other rings and kind of compensate for the differences in the rings and stuff, and the difficulties that come along with it. Like, for example, when Kyle Rayner puts on the blue ring at first, he has no idea how to use it, and they're fighting Green Lanterns that have been controlled by Parallax through the central battery. And one of the primary functions of a blue ring is to charge green rings. And so he's like accidentally charging all these people's rings that they're trying to fight. And like, you know, they're trying to like figure out how to work around this and stuff. It just makes it a lot of fun, basically, and really interesting. So I can't wait to finish this one and then go immediately and purchase another Green. I'm really falling in love with the Green Lantern stuff, especially the stuff that Jeff Johns wrote. I can't get enough of it right now.
Yeah, the Green Lantern stuff's really... I like it. I've been reading a lot of that too as well. Mostly, I've been going through the whole New 52 still, like Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern, New Guardians. I mean, all that.
Is the New Guardians? Is the New Guardians like? Does it focus on like Atrocitus, Larfleeze?
No. Larfleeze has his own comic,
right?
And then there's the Red Lanterns. They have their own comic. New Guardians. Let me pull it up here because I'm trying to remember. Because I've been reading those in conjunction with the Green Lantern Corps, so I can get it mixed up.
Or is it just maybe like people that are newer to the Green Lantern Corps?
Let me see here.
Because I haven't read any of the New Guardians. I haven't read any of the Red Lantern or Larfleeze, which I think
Larfleeze is awesome.
Yeah, you were talking about that a couple weeks ago. I really think I would enjoy reading Larfleeze and the Red Lantern Corps books. I just haven't had the time or money to go and get those and start
New
reading.
New Guardians looks like it has to do more with Kyle Radner because he's on a lot of the covers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what have you been reading?
The Green Lantern Corps is John Stewart and Guy Gardner.
Right.
And then
right.
Green Lantern is
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan, Simon Baz.
Baz, right.
Yeah. But I've been reading. I haven't really read that much since we last aired. I've been on that quest to complete Smallville.
How's that going?
I am 2 episodes away. I will be done today. I'm 2 episodes away from.
I will not leave the couch until it is complete.
I've been on it it's been probably
it's been over a year. It's been over a year for sure.
Yeah. Because I started off watching the first 4 seasons and was like, oh, these are good, and then I never got the rest of them.
Yeah.
And then I finally said, screw it, I'm gonna go out and get the rest of them a few months later, and it's just been steamrolling through
nonstop.
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite? Okay, so I was never a big Smallville person at all. I never watched it when it was on TV or anything. I thought it looked kind of silly, to be honest with you, at first glance. But then when you went through and watched the first 4 seasons, actually, I think it was later than that. I think it was when you started watching season 5 and steamrolling through the rest, you were telling me how good it was, and I was out at a antique mall in the area looking for comic books, looking for old comic books, and I happened to stumble across this booth that had, I wish I would have got more. They had like the first 6 seasons on DVD sets. And I bought the first 2 seasons for like $6 each on DVD.
Yeah, you should have got them all.
I should have just bought them all. But I was like, you know what? For $6 a piece, I'll give it a shot for the first 2 seasons and see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? For $12, you can't, like, even if it's a bad show and I never want to watch it ever again, like $12 is $12. Like, I would pay more than that on one DVD. So,
yeah.
But man, I really liked them. So now I'm like hooked. I've watched 2 seasons and now I can't wait to get like the rest of the season. So
and you haven't even got into you haven't even got into the comic book aspect. Like the first 2 seasons is just like fucking high school drama.
Yeah.
Like and like once it comes out,
but it's
I think
still
like,
good even then.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
crazy.
It's got good writing. But I think once it gets to like season 5 or season 4, I think is when you first get your taste of like the whole like other superheroes in the world. Like there's a kid shows up who wears red and hoodies, and his name's what the fuck was his name? Bert, but they called him Pulse, and he was like the Flash. And which I always thought was weird, like, you know, maybe they can't use the Flash name, whatever. And I thought it was just because the show, and I thought if this is how the show's going to be, this is going to suck. For you got to have like certain characters of like you know, different ones based on you know, little names. Like I have to figure out who's who. But then after a while, then like Cyborg showed up and Green Arrow showed up, and it was just like, I mean, there's been the past 5 seasons have been just full of characters.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to go back and watch any of the stuff that was from season 2 forward yet, but definitely I'm looking forward to checking that stuff out.
Yeah, I'll get you my. I mean, now that I'm done with them, I'll get you my copies, and you can start on those because it's worth it. It's definitely worth. I mean, just watching.
Right on. Well, what else have you been reading this week?
Shit. What else did I read this week? I got the new Futures End, but I didn't read this week's issue yet. Which I need to do that. Like I said, the Smallville thing just had me
just tying up all your time.
Yeah, just staring at the TV, not reading anything.
What other books did you pick up other than Futures End? Anything?
I got the Original Sins 1.
I did not like that. I read that. I didn't like it. I did not like it at all. The first part of the book was like a trailer teaser for Deathlock, which is going to be coming out with his own series in like October.
Oh yeah,
I think
about that. Yeah,
and then the second part was like a Young Avengers thing, and I just didn't like it. I didn't care for the artwork. I didn't care for the story. It didn't seem to really tie into what was going on in Original Sin. I will not be purchasing any of the rest of the Original Sins books because that one to me felt more like an advertisement with, you know, the multi-page advertisement for Deathlock, then the regular advertisements that come in comic books, and then Young Avengers, which felt like an advertisement because it didn't even seem to really like tie into the actual story. You know, they gave you this huge cliffhanger at the end of Original Sin 3 with Bucky Barnes killing
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, right. And then they go into this, and it's like you just went from like up here to like, you know, like an A+ book in my opinion to like a D-. And it's like that's what are you thinking if you're
capitalizing on the sales of Original Sins?
I mean, I guess, but I just can't see how that's going to help because there's like 3 or 4 Original Sins books also. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a 4 or 5 part. Yeah,
if the first one's that big of a flop, who's gonna buy the next one? So I don't know, but anything else that you picked up? You got the Forever or the Future's End.
I got the Future's End, the Original Sins, the Batman Eternal 9 or 10. I picked up the Wolverine 3 Months to Live. The volume, I think it's 7, issue 8 or 9. Where he's getting ready to die.
Oh, really?
Like that came out. Yeah, that came out Wednesday.
Refresh my memory? When's he slated to jump into the grave?
Well, if it's June now, 3 months would be September.
Yeah.
September. Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome to Topher, everybody.
So apparently we've already started.
Yes. We started on time today. And what have you been reading this week?
Technical manuals for work.
Nice. That sounds really, really interesting.
Lots of revision coding.
Yeah. I did read a couple issues of after reading the Annihilation stuff from a while back, seeing trying to go back and look at some of the cosmic stuff, and before Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, I really enjoyed the stuff with Nova, and so I started reading his ongoing series.
Is the cosmic stuff you're talking about? Is that the stuff with like that's magic? The Magic series?
No,
okay.
No. In Marvel, you've kind of got everything going on Earth, and then you can talk about like the cosmic stuff in Marvel. And cosmic is pretty much anything that happens, where the main setting is space, rather than Earth. So like everybody, you got the Avengers and the X-Men and all this stuff on Earth. Even like even Thor and Asgard, he goes back and forth between there and Earth, but the cosmic is like, Thanos and Galactus and Silver Surfer and Nova and all these people who are, like not necessarily of Earth, like the Kree and the Skrull and, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's like pretty much everything that's not Earth.
Oh, okay. I came across, I was at a store yesterday and I came across some of the older Magic, MAGIK books, and I was just wondering, I was just curious if that was, I remember you talking about the cosmic Marvel Universe, and I was just wondering if that was part of it, or if that was still the regular stuff.
No, she's, let's see here. She's Colossus's sister.
Oh, that's right. You talked about this.
She was a member of the New Mutants, and she had a limited series where she was like, growing up in some demon realm called Limbo, and on Earth a few seconds goes by, and the X-Men pull her back out of a portal, and she's like 7 years older and now a teenager, and they're like, what? And
do what?
What? So, but no, I mean that was a really cool little series. I mean that was only like 4 issues of that, and then she was a main cast member of the New Mutants throughout the '80s, which was like kind of like the junior X-Men. So
I gotcha.
But no, that had nothing to do with cosmic.
X-Men, did Fox? Did you watch the new X-Men yet?
Yes. So much to Topher's delight, we can now discuss Days of Future Past. Topher, go ahead.
I would feel bad if we're discussing it with Brian not here, but...
Oh, that's true. Maybe we should wait till next week.
Yeah, we can do it next week.
Okay, we'll wait till next week. So, okay. I totally interrupted you. You said you were reading some of the cosmic stuff, Nova.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot I said that already. I'm a little tired. Let's see here. Nova had an ongoing series right after Annihilation. Basically, during Annihilation, so Nova. I keep interrupting myself here, but like similar to like the Green Lantern Corps in DC, Nova isn't actually just one dude. Nova is actually there's something called the Nova Corps, which they're sort of like an intergalactic police force. They're kind of like a peacekeeping.
So they're the Marvel. They're the Marvel Green Lanterns, basically.
Yeah, of sorts. I don't know. I don't know who came first. Actually, I'm sure Green Lantern came first. I don't know, but the concept of the Green Lantern Corps, I don't think actually came about until that was a more recent thing. Didn't Jeff Johns do?
No, Green Lantern. The Green Lantern Corps.
The idea of the Corps has been around.
That's right. The Corps. It was. He was the one who introduced the other color Lantern Corps.
Yeah. The other colors of the spectrum got introduced later.
Right. So anyway, so Green Lantern stuff probably came first, but these are Richard Rider is the the name of Nova, Earth's Nova. There isn't like necessarily one per planet kind of thing like Green Lantern. But they're basically like an interstellar police force. They've got like a headquarters, and they're called Nova Centurions, and they each have like an ID number, and they basically go around and respond to calls for assistance. Like they're like an emergency response police force, and throughout throughout space and whatnot.
There really are a lot of like similarities. Although that's true of a lot of characters between DC and Marvel,
right?
To be honest.
Yeah. Well, this series started in 2007, and in the fallout of the Annihilation event that I read a while back, basically the Nova Corps gets destroyed. Richard Rider is the last surviving Nova, and so he gets imbued with the power of the entire Corps in him, and so
he's a supernova.
Oh
wow!
That's
right. I'll be here all day. Thank you. It's not going to get any better than that.
I feel dumber.
I'm just saying. If you follow the train of thought.
But it was kind of cool though, because he's trying to deal with being the last member of this force alive, and suddenly having all this extra power, and yet having to go around and respond to everything. And he's burning himself out.
Like Superman.
So he decides to return back to Earth briefly. And rest slightly because he hasn't been back to Earth in a while, and he lands on Earth right during the middle of the initiative, Tony Stark running S.H.I.E.L.D. after the Civil War stuff, and everybody's asking him if he's going to register or not, and basically he ends up saying, "Fuck this planet, you guys are all crazy," and then leaves again.
Nice.
It was funny though.
Nova? He's not. Nova
there is.
anymore.
He's not.
It's like his son or something.
I think he died or something. I don't know. One of the reasons I was trying to read the series is because I was curious what happened to him. Because there's a new one who's a younger kid now.
I think it's his son.
It's funny though. He comes back to Earth, and it's during Civil War. So it's after Spider-Man's given his press conference and announced his identity. But before Mephisto said, "Nope, just kidding. Everybody forgot that." And so Tony Stark starts talking about it's like Peter Parker always says, with great power comes great responsibility, and Nova's like, who? No, that's Spider-Man, and he's that's what I said, Peter Parker. He's like, wait, the scrawny little photographer from the Daily Planet, or not Daily Planet,
the
Daily Bugle.
What the fuck?
Daily Bugle. Thank you. Yeah. The Daily Bugle. He's like, that's what I said, Spider-Man. He's like, no, that's Spider-Man? The next several pages, everybody he talks to, did you know Peter Parker was Spider-Man?
Chris, have you read the Original Sins 0? I believe that will give you all of the answers that you're looking for in one concise book about Nova.
That's where I read it.
If I'm correct, Nova is the son of the person you're talking about, and he dons the suit, and his first actual experience with wearing the suit is actually him going to the moon and happening to meet the Watcher, which is where we get the history of the Watcher for Original Sin 0. Yeah. So it was my first experience with Nova at all. I've came across the Watcher quite a few times across reading different books and stuff, but but I really, really liked Original Sin Zero, even though it wasn't really like officially part of the Original Sin series. That was the best one, I would say.
Yeah.
That was far and away the best one so far.
I like the interaction where it had Nova and Iron Man in it and everything. You
Right,
know, like
it had a little bit of
pretty
everything.
cool.
Yeah.
Was Original Sin Zero, was that the one where it shows the Watcher like looking at all kinds of stuff around, like through, through windows, at like seeing what's going on with a ton of different people? Or
Yes,
was that, like,
it's like a big red tunnel with like just thousands and thousands of images of like little television square type things of all the multiple universes stacked on top of each other, and he sees all of them all at the same time.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I haven't read that yet. I'm thinking of there's they've done that a couple times now. They've done like a preview issue, and I think it was actually Annihilation, the prologue to Annihilation. They did an issue where it was like, the Watcher showing, like scenes from several different things that were all happening simultaneously that were all going to like come together.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so I'm really anxious to jump into the news section this week. We've got some good stuff to talk about. First of which is something that, Topher, you may or may not be aware of this. Pirate wasn't aware of it until I mentioned it to him the other day at work. There is a thing out there that is going to be happening next year, 2015, in December. Is that correct? Am I right on the dates there?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
December is going to be in our area.
Right. Yeah. In December, it's going to be in Ohio. So it's called Marvel Live. And it's going to be like a live-action stunt show with actors in like costume and like biomechanical like outfits and doing all these stunts to bring you into the Marvel universe, and it looks epic. If you just search Marvel Live on Google, they've got this short little 3-minute trailer of talking about the technology behind it, some of the stunts that they're practicing. It shows you some of the skeleton, I guess, is that how you would describe it? The skeletons of the outfits that some of the monsters are going to be wearing. It looks incredible. I will be in attendance, probably with a VIP ticket, as close as I can get, because it looks amazing.
Didn't we talk badass. Didn't we talk about this like a month and a half ago?
No, that was Marvel Experience, which is something completely...
Oh, this is something different?
Yeah, this is something completely different. This is almost like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, you remember the...
It's like Cirque du Soleil for Marvel.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like the coolest thing ever.
Right, exactly. That's where I'm landing with this.
I want to see a dude in an Iron Man suit on a trampoline doing like flips and shit.
I want to see like fucking like Scarlett Johansson on like those like ribbon ties things where they like they like them and like
wrap yourself up in it and then like unfurls.
The Marvel Experience, which is something different, is a interactive museum exhibit that travels around. This is more of like a Muppets on Ice type. It's
more like a show.
Yeah, this is a show, and
interesting.
It looks awesome. Like it looks like if you're
live action web slinging.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's all kinds of stuff.
How cool would that be?
It shows.
I think they're gonna have it because they showed this thing in the video of this dude running around.
Gotta have it.
Doc Ock. Yeah. Well, they had like dude had Doc Ock arms and shit on his back. And he was like
they showed
around.
Doc Ock. They showed somebody
dirt bikes.
They showed somebody throwing the Captain America shield, and they had it hooked up to this like tethered like pulley system, so it shot like super far, really fast. But you couldn't like from a distance, you wouldn't be able to see the cord, kind of thing. Like
They showed cars like flipping.
yeah,
Like
there will be explosions.
great.
There will be. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. So fully
That sounds
expect
kinda cool.
an in-depth report from the Comic Book Nerd Nation on that event. Granted, that's not for over a year from now, but I've already got wood. So,
If it lasts more than 4 hours, you should see.
you should see your doctor.
medical help.
You should stop taking the little blue pills and see your doctor. The next
If it
thing,
lasts till next year, you should definitely see your
if it
doctor.
lasts till next year, you've got a huge problem.
Well, a average size
Average
problem.
size problem.
Average size
right.
problem.
This is one that's very difficult to deal with. The next thing is Marvel casted Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm going to butcher this last name. D'Onofrio?
D'Onofrio.
Thank you. I don't know.
Private Pile. They cast Private Pile.
Private Pile. Also, he is more popular, probably recently at least, from Law and Order, to play Kingpin in the Netflix series Daredevil.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I like it. I think that's a good call.
That'll work for me.
I think he looks right. I think he looks dead on. I mean, he's obviously anybody is going to be a little small for the role.
Right, right.
But like as far as his face, like you put his face up next to some of the comic book drawings of Kingpin, and it's like, damn, that might really be him.
I just want to see him sitting on a shitter and like looking over all fucked up and say, "I am in a world of shit." That's all I want to see. Like if he can do that as Kingpin, I'm happy.
This got weird fast.
You never Full Metal
Yes,
Jacket.
I know what you're. I know what you're talking about. I'm just referring to the fact that you want to see another man's shit. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying.
that is weird.
It's a
There's
little out there.
There's websites on the internet that cater to people like you.
There's
That's fucked up.
there's prisons that cater to people like you too. Man.
Oh, fuck y'all.
So another big announcement in the casting world, if you will, is Jason Momoa, who played Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones, has been cast as Aquaman. Now, we already know what Whole F and Brian's opinion of this is because he posted it on our Facebook wall immediately. He thinks it's going to make Batman v Superman poop. But it has been already announced that this role in Batman v Superman, just like I said most of them will be, is simply no more than a cameo. That being said, I think that is complete evidence that across the board, that insane list of characters that we heard them talk about, like, oh, we're going to put this person in it, it's going to be a bunch of really insignificant cameos just to introduce the face to the character and
Still
nothing
too
more.
much. Still too much.
I disagree completely.
They're trying to do everything right now, like,
But they're not.
They're like, oh shit, Marvel's got a dozen movies out. We've got one in this universe. Okay, well, quick, we need to introduce a bunch of characters. I'm sorry, but like, when these characters came together in the comics, it wasn't all just like they did one thing and then bam, like they all showed up in the same place. Like, I just you're watering down the movie.
In the New 52.
Well,
in the New 52, they kind of did.
Yeah.
I just feel like a movie is already such a short time frame. You don't have an entire series of a television show. You don't have an entire comic series. You get like an hour and a half, 2 hours to to tell a complete story. Most of which is like setting up cameras and like setting the scenes and whatnot. Like to have dialogue for that many characters. I mean, there's not that much dialogue in a movie to begin with when you look at the big picture. To put that many characters in, you're basically saying, okay, I know I've only got this much room to tell a story about this movie, but I'm going to fill it up with this much of other shit. And now you've got, like, you know, a half an hour when you're not doing character cameos to tell a story, and you've handicapped yourself on an already time limited format.
Yeah, I disagree. Here's my rebuttal. Here's my rebuttal, and I think Pirate. I think you're gonna go down the same road. So,
all right.
My rebuttal is the schedule of production that was released that will be confirmed at the San Diego Comic-Con for the new DC movies. May 2016, you've got Batman v Superman. July 2016, you've got Shazam. Christmas 2016, you've got Sandman. Then, not till May of 2017 do you have Justice League. So right there, they have 3 movies, 4 if you count Man of Steel 1, to set up the Justice League movie. So everything everybody's saying about this being a Justice League movie, this isn't going to be, that's not what it is. Then July 2017, you have Wonder Woman. Christmas 2017, you have Flash and Green Lantern team-up movie. And then May 2018, you have Man of Steel 2. So they're doing the same thing Marvel did. They're doing the same thing Marvel did.
I agree with that. I don't agree with the Sandman, though. I think that Sandman shouldn't be part of the Justice League. I mean, maybe Justice League of America, but like, I don't know.
There's nothing saying that he's definitely going to be in the Justice League movie.
I know. I'm just saying though, if you was to read that out and say, okay, this is who the Justice League is going to be. I mean, I get that they're not saying that he is. They're not saying that he is. I'm just saying,
like, if there's 1 or 2 peripheral characters in each of those 3 movies that are yet to come before Justice League, that is plenty of time to introduce each character adequately to then have them be an effective character in the actual Justice League movie, which isn't happening until 2017.
It would be if everybody watched those movies. Like, you say Marvel did it, but Marvel. No, hold on. You say Marvel did that, but no, they didn't. Marvel did, you know, individual movies for their big name heroes. Thor had a movie. Iron Man had a movie. Captain America had a movie.
Iron Man was hold on. When you say that, Iron Man was not a big character. Iron Man was projected to be an absolute flop of a movie. They just did a phenomenal job of making a good movie out of it. There was going into that, leading up in the time frame right now, had we been back in time recording this podcast about that movie, every one of us would have been like, that movie's going to be fucking terrible. Nobody's going to see it. That movie there was nobody that wanted to see that movie. It came out and it did spectacular.
What are you talking about? Who were you hanging out with at that time?
When it came out.
Everybody I knew wanted to see that movie. It was directed by Jon Favreau, who's always been a fantastic director. It has fucking, you know, Robert Downey Jr., who was like the perfect Tony Stark.
But how did you know that? How did you know that before he had played Tony Stark?
Because there's a Wikipedia entry about his life. Like,
the dude didn't arrest
how did you not know who Robert Downey Jr. Did you seriously not know who Robert Downey Jr. was?
But how did you know he was? I knew who he was, but how did you know he was going to be a good?
Because he's real life Tony Stark. Like he is Tony fucking Stark.
Yeah, I mean the dude had a huge drug problem, alcohol.
Secondly, how do you say that one of the biggest, like, comic book heroes from the Marvel Universe was Iron Man? Iron Man was never popular.
I'm not saying he was. What I'm saying is, if you're working towards an Avengers movie, then there are 3 mainstream characters. Like they always talk about the Avengers.
Just like Justice League, it would have to be probably, Batman,
the Avengers,
Superman, maybe, like a Shazam character. And then perhaps
and
Wonder Woman.
That's exactly my point. Hold on, I'm getting to it. you can say what you will about the Iron Man movie, but the fact was they were going to be doing an Avengers movie. The big three Avengers are Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Anytime they do any sort of Avengers media, whether it be TV show, cartoons, like anytime those are the three characters who are always a part of it. And so they said, okay, we're going to do the three characters that everybody knows are part of the Avengers. We're going to give their own movies. Then we're going to bring them together as the Avengers.
Except they started it before that. The first one was Hulk, wasn't it?
Iron Man was first, then Hulk.
Well, no, the first one was Hulk, but that wasn't by the Marvels.
The first Iron Man.
We're talking about the Incredible Hulk, but the one in 2000.
The one with Edward Norton, and I'm telling. Wait, are you talking about the Eric Bana one?
The Eric Banner one, but that doesn't count. That's what I was.
That one's not
part of
the I know. Iron Man, then Hulk.
The first one was Iron Man, then Hulk.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, so they made sure they set up all their characters, their big characters, before they did the Avengers. They didn't try and show cameos of 47 different characters in every single movie.
Okay, now hold on. If you're going to make an argument, at least make it reasonable. They're not going to have 47 cameos in Superman or Batman v Superman. You're talking like maybe 4 or 5 cameos, tops. You're not talking. I mean, when you say 47, you're talking, yes, obviously
I don't even
not
think
doable.
it'll be that many. I don't even.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it'll be one cameo.
Who we got? Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg.
Cyborg's not going to be in that movie.
Cyborg's not in it?
No, he's in a later movie. He's in the Justice League movie.
Okay.
From what I read, Cyborg was not going to be coming into it until the Justice League movie.
They already cast him for Justice League this far in advance?
Yeah.
Well, they already cast Wonder Woman for the Wonder Woman movie.
But she's going to be in Batman v Superman.
She's in Batman v Superman.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They already cast Cyborg. Like, I thought they did that for Batman v Superman.
Well,
maybe I'm wrong, and they cast him like fucking 5 years in advance.
A lot of this too, Zack Snyder's wanting to shoot a lot of it back to back too. So a lot of this shit that's not getting released until 2016 is gonna, or late 2016, maybe even early 2017, is gonna be shot at the same time as the Batman v Superman movie.
Cameos are cool when you do some little characters that not everybody necessarily knows about, when they're not going to be a major part of your franchise, or when you're trying to introduce, a particular character, just have them on camera before they become a major part of a later movie. When you start giving cameos to 3 or 4 major characters that are going to be the cast of your next movie, I think you're not focusing on what this movie is. You're trying to do too much setup too fast for a future endeavor, and
I see what you're saying.
And I think that degrades the quality of this movie. You can do, like, Justice League might be great. I'm not saying Justice League is going to suck or that their entire plan sucks. What I'm saying is, if you want to make a good movie that's called Superman v Batman and not Superman v Batman while Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Green Lantern, Flash, however the hell many other extras are all watching, then you need to focus on Superman and Batman and not try and give screen time to several other characters just so that you can say you had them on camera before you put them in a major get together. And then you say that your point is reinforced by the fact that we're going to have a Sandman movie and a whatever the hell the other one was that I've forgotten already. Like,
Shazam.
Shazam, right? Which one almost sounds like the title of a horrible, Shaquille O'Neal movie from a while back. Like, it's like, we all know who Shazam is, and we know the whole thing, but Shazam is kind of a stupid title for a movie.
That's not the official title. That's just what it's going to be about.
Well,
they can title it anything. They can title it Captain Marvel.
Okay, but let's look at the characters in the Justice League that should get their own movie. Well, we've got Superman, so he's a guy with super strength who flies around and does good shit. Okay, well then let's get some variety. Who else are we gonna have in a movie? Oh, Shazam, a guy who wears a tight suit, a cape, flies around with super strength. Yeah, not a whole lot of fucking variety in their movies here. Like, if I'm the average American movie-going public, and Marvel's making, big names like Iron Man and Hulk and Thor and Captain America, and then DC says, all right, here's what we got, America. We're going to do the Justice League. So we've got Superman, then we've got Batman thrown in on the side of Superman, another dude that looks like Superman, and Sandman, because that's who you guys think of when you think of Justice League.
Thing, though, what they could do too was, you're right about the whole thing, but the fact that they've cast, they're trying, or the talk of the rumor cast is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to be Black Adam. It may not actually even have Shazam in the movie, because you're right, he is close to Superman, but Black Adam is also close to Superman because he's the exact opposite of Shazam. So if Black Adam's in there, there's a villain. And you have, what's that with, the polar opposites of Superman, plus Black Adam has his powers from magic, and we know Superman's affected by magic.
Black Adam as a villain would be kind of cool. I will give you that. That would be.
And I think I could see The Rock as Black Adam. Like, you visually, you could look
absolutely.
at him and be like, that's Black Adam.
Now, not to mention, like, the thing you have to think of here too, Topher, is like, our current opinions of the movies leading up to to Avengers and Avengers are all based on historical precedent, which only includes those movies. There has never been any other movies done any other way to lead up to a superhero team up. So just because that way worked doesn't mean that there's no other way to do it. So
I never said that was
like, there could very well be, a bigger plan. I'm sure there's a bigger plan going on in a multi-million-dollar movie industry like this to tie these together without, like, not including storyline.
I never said that Marvel was the only way that it could be done, or that there wasn't, that was the right way, or that there wasn't another way that could be done. I just think cramming that many characters into one movie and then going off and doing a couple other movies that most people don't associate with the Justice League doesn't, to me, sound like a solid strategy for drumming up interest in a Justice League movie and getting a quality film to lead up to it, to get the box office numbers that you would want from a project as expansive as the Justice League. My point in bringing up the Marvel movies was because that you said Marvel did this, and I was saying no, I don't think they did. Like, I was just saying that I think this is different from what Marvel did. I'm not saying the Marvel's way is the only right way.
The same.
I'm saying, just from what I've heard about what DC's doing, it doesn't seem to me like the right way to do it. But
here's the thing, though, too. Like, that whole schedule, like, if Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice comes out and does not do what they're expecting it to do, that whole schedule's out the fucking window. Guarantee it. Like, it's done.
I'm sorry, but I can't hear that title now without picturing Brian going, Dawn of Poop, every single time.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Every time I hear Superman v Batman, I hear him going, Dawn of Poop.
God. I can't wait for this movie to come out, just sheerly for the fact of the opportunity to shut up all the naysayers. Everybody that thinks that it's going to be a bad movie because of the cameos, because they're trying to do too much with it, because it's not just a Superman movie, because it's leading into Justice League, because it's Ben Affleck playing Batman, because it's what's his name playing Lex Luthor? Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor. I just think that everybody is being overly critical about the situation, and I think what realistically is going to happen is, over the next 3 years, we're going to see the best DC superhero movies we've ever seen.
I'm sure we will. Like, I don't deny that. I don't know. I just think that sometimes they're trying to be a little too ambitious, and it's not going to be as good as it could have been had they just focused on making a good movie rather than setting the stage for an entire cinematic universe.
I suppose, but if you don't set your sights high, you'll never reach them. You'll never reach your goals. It's that simple. If if Marvel hadn't set their sights high on creating a cinematic universe, then you would have never seen Avengers. You would never see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show. Captain America Winter Soldier probably would have never happened the way that it did. I mean, there's both sides of the coin. You can play it safe and
I can step off the top of a skyscraper and say, well, it's not, all these people who step off their front porches, they're not thinking big enough, but I'm still gonna fucking splat when I hit the pavement.
That is the most retarded analogy I've ever heard in my life.
No, you're like,
for such an intelligent person, you just took yourself back to like second grade logic.
I did so purposely, because you're sitting there trying to sound all high and mighty, like, you have to aim high or you'll never achieve your goals. Like,
I mean, that's true.
It's true, but that doesn't mean that you have to...
If you shoot for mediocre, you're only going to achieve mediocre. If you only try to tell one story and not try to build to a bigger picture, you'll never build to a bigger picture. So
there is such a thing
why wouldn't they try to build their cinematic universe if they've already got a superhero universe built behind it?
Well, then why not think even bigger? I mean, why stop with the Justice League? I mean, do you know how many characters that DC has? Why don't we try and fit all of them, like 2,000 characters into this movie? We think big, man. Think big.
I mean, eventually, why not? I mean, that's what
No, not eventually. Not eventually. You gotta set it up now. You gotta fucking put all 2,000 of characters in this movie. Damn it!
Clearly, you are insane.
No, I'm saying, like, clearly there is a point where there's too much.
Because somehow, in your mind, having 4 cameos in one movie equates to trying to push the entire DC universe into one 2-hour film.
You're
somehow
not listening to me.
Somehow that equates to the same thing.
It doesn't equate to it. You're not listening to me. What I'm saying is there's a line somewhere. Somewhere it is possible to try and cram too much into one project.
I would agree
there
with that.
There is a point at which you can be overly ambitious. And you're saying, well, you have to aim big. I'm not against aiming big. Of course, you have to aim big if you want to do something that ambitious as making a cinematic universe. But at the same time, there is a point where you can go too far and include too much, and you end up making a worse quality movie because you spent too much time trying to set things up and not enough time telling your current fucking story. And I think that we're borderline on the edge of doing that, and like, I thought we were on the edge of doing that before they announced Aquaman. I mean, and now that they've said, oh yeah, Aquaman 2, like, I feel like they're starting to cross that line.
I don't. I completely, respectfully, completely disagree with you. I don't think it's going to be that bad because first of all, the movie is probably going to be geared towards or have aspects of it that are geared towards comic book fans. But the beauty of it, with it being DC instead of Marvel, is that the 2 headlining characters, Batman and Superman, are probably 2 out of 3 or 4 of the most recognizable character names in the entire world. It doesn't matter where you go on this entire planet. If you say Superman or you say Batman, motherfuckers are going to know who you're talking about. They're going to know Batman wears black, he's got a fucking mask, he wears a cape. They're going to know Superman's got a cape and he flies.
You store blue and gray.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying, though. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, anywhere on the planet.
Of course. They are easily the 2 most recognizable comic book characters. And if all you're interested in is box office sales, then that's enough. If you want to tell it, if you want to get people into the theater, then calling it Superman v Batman, bam, there you go. Millions of people will flock to those theaters to watch whatever turd you put on film. It doesn't matter what it is. You are correct. There's 2 biggest names in comics.
Can we just call him Brian Jr.? I think we should. Just call him Brian Jr. He's starting to sound exactly like Brian.
No, I'm not saying the movie's gonna suck. I think I'm gonna like the movie. I'm saying that they need to be really careful about how they're doing these cameos. If it's like one sequence where they're showing like film about, like emerging, people with superpowers around the world, and they show them in a couple clips, like that'll be cool. If they try and actually work all these characters in and have them have interactions with the main characters,
they're not going to do that.
I think they're going to fall flat on their face trying to stretch too far.
They're not going to do that.
And I'm saying the possibility exists. And I can tell you right now, I'm probably going to like this movie. I'm not saying I'm not. Brian's saying he's not going to like this movie. That he's going to be poop. I think the movie's still going to be decent. I think it's going to be enjoyable. I think I'm going to like it. I just think that if they don't play it right with these cameos and they keep trying to stretch this too far and include too much, that it's not going to be as good a movie as if they hadn't tried to do that.
I would agree, but I on the opposite end of the spectrum, obviously, I think that they will have it thought out, and I think they will have some kind of concise scene that just ever so briefly introduces you to however they want to implement it, whether it's emerging superheroes from around the world or however the fuck they want to do it. They'll cut that into like a short like montage, if you will, or whatever, and have one section to introduce the cameos of these characters. I don't think that this movie is going to be to establish a background of fucking Aquaman or a background of Wonder Woman or anything like that. It's going to be focused on Batman and Superman, and all these other auxiliary characters that everybody is so worried about are just going to be exactly that. They're going to be auxiliary. They're going to be cameos. They're just going to be some plot point somewhere that it will do better for the movie as a whole if you can say, rather than just having a news reporter say, Aquaman, this guy that, whatever, describing Aquaman and not showing a picture of him, but have somebody there to show a picture. And then that's it. That's what I'm saying is like, I think that these are really just placeholders. They're not, it's not going to be a focal point of the storyline.
I know it won't be a focal point, and I hope you're right about it not distracting. My whole thing is just, if you're telling a story and you spend time on anything that doesn't set the stage for your current movie, doesn't further your current plot any, then it's bad storytelling.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Unfortunately, most of them are like assholes and they stink. So, Pirate, would you like to give a quick recap of your thoughts and feelings before we call it a day?
I'm fucking scared to at this point. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Shit got a little heated today. Shit got a little real.
Man,
you're allowed to have an opinion. Doug just reserves the right to tell you you're wrong for it.
You're goddamn right. Now, at least you now know where you all stand.
No, I'm looking
forward to tell us what's actually right.
I'm not gonna be one of those guys that is flat out like it's gonna do good or it's gonna do bad. I have my reservations on both sides of the spectrum. I agree with Chris that depending on how they dump other characters in there, it may be too much for one movie, but at the same time, me personally, I don't care how they dump them in there. It's like, I want to see
I want to see it. Yeah.
I want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, so, because it could be a great movie, and I could watch it and leave and be like, fuck, I really wish I could have seen more of Aquaman, or something or Cyborg, or
we're getting some
whatever.
We're getting some.
We're listening to some Cyborg right now.
Yeah, we're getting some Cyborg action from Pirates Mike, but that's okay because we're about finished up for the day anyway. That's about it for this week. I'm Fox 2. We've got Topher.
Cheers.
And Pirate is already gone, so
and
he will see you next week, apparently. Wait,
wait,
here he is. Just kidding. Pirate, say goodbye.
You to say goodbye.
All right. See you later, guys.